What's good, y'all? Professor Blam here. Episode 2 of Trivia Blam. Uh, Last episode, first one, random questions. Easy, pretty easy. No real structure other than 3 rounds of 7. We're going to continue 3 rounds of 7 throughout, unless, oh, butterscotch. Phone just fell out of my pocket. Let's put that on the desk. All right, all right. Now, we're going to keep that structure going. I'm going to try to hopefully, we'll see, hopefully be a little more uh, organized as far as telling answers. If you're listening on Spotify or podcast version, there will be a point where I'm pausing to put up the answers for the YouTube version. So just stay with me. It'll be like 5 seconds, something like that. 7 questions, probably 7 seconds. Let's go with that. Um, but yeah, other than that, after this, comment your scores in the bottom, in the comments. I'm not real sure. I'm not real tech savvy. If you like what we're doing here, please subscribe, like this. It'll really help out the channel, and it'll be much easier for you to see what your boy is putting up. But anyway, let's get to it. This is a trivia edition. Check that. It's a travel edition of trivia. All right, round one. Question one. What is the smallest country in the world by land area? It's interesting. A lot of people probably don't realize that this is actually a country, especially given the name. But we'll see. There's a lot of interesting history behind this. Highly suggests doing a deep dive. You're probably not going to like what you see, but that's neither here nor there. That's a totally different thing. If you hear some ruffling in the background, that's my doggo. Question two. Which city is nicknamed the City of 100 Spires? I'll give you a hint. It's not in America. I don't even know what a spire is. I think it has something to do with castles or something. Maybe it's a thing at the top of castles. I'm not real sure. I don't know. But yeah, nicknamed the City of 100 Spires. Question three. What's the only country in the world that's also a continent? This one's interesting because should be fairly. This question doesn't make any sense um, at all, TBH. But we're gonna keep it in. We're gonna keep it in. Yeah, yeah, we'll keep it in. Only country in the world that's also a continent. We may have to fact check this one at the end, or perhaps we'll release the fact check in the next episode. But as of right now, blah blah blah, we're gonna just go on what I found. All right, number four. Which U.S. state is known as the last frontier? All right, Frontier Airlines. Big ups to them. Big fan of Frontier Airlines. Um, Actually, not a huge fan of Frontier Airlines. I kind of like them, good price, but they kind of gypped me. They gypped me heavy one time because I had to do a self-transfer, and apparently, if you do a self-transfer, you got to pay for baggage for every single flight. But so in turn, I was trying to save money, and I ended up paying the same exact amount, but had a huge, huge layover, two huge layovers, 8 hours plus in in the airport. Not ideal. Very, very unideal. So Frontier, you're sorry, but Professor Blam's probably not riding Frontier anymore. Who knows? Maybe we will. They do have some sweet deals sometimes. All right, last Frontier. Number five, which African country is home to the Great Pyramids of Giza? This should be a very simple question. Uh, yeah, Great Pyramids of Giza. Where's Giza? Where are the pyramid? Where's the Great Pyramids? All right, what African nation? Number six, the islands of Santorini belong to which country? I have sisters and a mother. I do not actually know this from this, but they talk about it a lot. They've said they wanted to go to Santorini because they went to Santorini on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Don't know why anyone wants to keep up with the Kardashians, but you know what? They do their thing. People like watching them, whatever. Santorini, beautiful place. It would be lovely to go there. So, yeah, what nation is home to Santorini? Number seven. This one's very interesting. I did not know this. Which country has more lakes than the rest of the world combined? Which country has more lakes than the rest of the world combined? Fascinating because uh, I don't want to give it away, but very interesting. Very, very curious, this one. But, when you think about it, I guess it kind of makes sense. All right. End of round one. Seven questions. Uh, we're going to go through, release all the answers one by one. I'm not putting up the answers on the screen anymore like I did in episode one. Truth be told, takes way too much time. I just want this bad boy to be quick, and I'm gonna go one by one, and then after it, I'm gonna pause for like 7 seconds to put up all of the answers. So bear with me if you're listening on podcast. If you're watching the video, seeing my beautiful face. Mm, 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 mm. Then you can see the answers. All right, simple enough. All right, question one. Arms crossed, I'm tough. All right, what is the smallest country in the world by land area? That would be the Vatican City, home to the Pope, a nation inside of a nation in Italy, I believe. Interesting how I can't get into it. I can't get into it. Let's just not even talk about it. But the Vatican City, look into it. It's it's dark. Okay. But beautiful. And okay, smallest country in the world by land area, Vatican City. Also, the name itself, you're like, oh, Vatican City, city, city. Why is it, how's it a country? Well, it is. So, yeah, Vatican City, smallest country in the world by land area. Number two, which city is nicknamed the City of 100 Spires? Well, the City of 100 Spires is Prague in the Czech Republic. Been there. Been there for New Year's. Fabulous place. Very cheap everything. Definitely recommend going. Um, Going for New Year's is wild. Those people will throw bottles up in the air. I got hit with a piece of a firework after it exploded. It's it's bonkers. That place is bonkers, but it's cheap and it's a good time and it's a pretty place. So, go to Prague, check it out. Check out the 100 Spires. Whatever spire is, maybe it's a castle point or something, I think. I don't really know. But that's it. Next, number four. Which US state is known as the last frontier? If we put this together in our head, um, it makes sense that it would be Alaska, right? That country's huge. There's no way it's been 100% explored. Maybe it has. I don't know. But much of it is uninhabitable, right? Last frontier, the last place we explored in America. Not 100% sure why it has that nickname even, but it's a dope nickname. Um, Maybe is Frontier Airlines from Alaska? Maybe I'll have to look that up. Uh, Probably should have planned this a little better, but as you know, I don't plan. I just rip, rip, rip. All right, next, five. This one should be fairly obvious based on like any piece of discussion ever. Which African country is home to the Great Pyramids of Giza? Well, that would be where all of the pharaohs are entombed. They also have, it's also been spoken that they have portals, that the pyramids are huge energy houses, and um, some even say that they used to be like ET crafts. Very interesting. I haven't really looked into it. Apparently, there's like stairwells and like crypts and underground tunnels deep below the pyramids. Very interesting. Anyway, it's in Egypt. Sorry, pyramids are in Egypt. I don't know if I said that, but yes, the Great Pyramids of Giza are in Egypt. Okay, next. The islands of Santorini belong to which country? If you've seen the Kardashians or ever looked up Santorini or ever looked up, um, seen the movie about the high school kids racing cars and slicking their hair back from the 50s, John Travolta, Olivia Newton-John. Santorini is an island that belongs to Greece. Greece. Beautiful country, would love to go. Not sure. I heard at one point they had like $1 trillion bill because their economy was so bad. That's pretty hardcore. That would be a neat piece of thing to have, especially after inflation, especially when it collects again, it come back, you're like, oh man, I'm super rich just because of this one super down bill. Oh, that'd be kind of cool. All right, moving on. All right, which country has more lakes than the rest of the world combined? This one is quite interesting because I mean, Florida has like apparently thousands of lakes. Minnesota is considered the land of 10,000 lakes. The rest of the world combined, that's insane. But anyway, it is Canada. Canada, it's massive. I mean, obviously, it's huge. Okay. So yeah, Canada has more lakes than the rest of the world combined. That's incredible. That's fascinating. I need to look up and see that. I mean, they got to have over 1 million lakes. I mean, there's you know dozens of countries, couple hundred countries, 300 countries, somewhere around there. You got more lakes than all of them. I mean, they got to have close to 1 million lakes. That's insane. That's dope. Anyway, that's the end of round one. Tally up your scores. Um, Out of seven, every point, every question counts the same. Scores don't even matter. They're just for fun. But here we go. Here comes our 7 second pause for the answers of round one. All right, here we go. Now, moving on to round two. Round two. These questions, they vary in difficulty from round one to round three. Easy, hard, I don't know. There's no specific order, there's no sectioning, just questions of seven, and that's it. All right, round two. Question eight. Remember, I'm only saying the overall number. All right. Question eight. What is the capital of New Zealand? What is the capital of New Zealand? New Zealand, that's where they filmed Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit or one of those medieval Middle Earth movies. The Hobbit. Oh my gosh, The Hobbit is insane because in a bad way, right? Had moments that were very cool, but how do you make three 2 hour long movies from one book? I mean, the book's not like 3,000 pages. I mean, it's like a 300-page book. How do you make three movies from that? Oh, the first movie's just walking. The second movie's basically just walking and talking. And then the third movie, I didn't even see it because the first two were so boring. Positively boring. Haha. Yes, if you liked them, good on you. Kudos. You know, everyone has their thing. But The Hobbit was definitely not my thing. All right. So, what is the capital of New Zealand? All right, number nine. Which famous river runs through Paris? Ooh, that would be the Wee Wee River. Oh, all right, moving on. Let's not be too childish, or perhaps who cares? Number 10. What Southeast Asian city is known for its floating markets and tuk-tuks? Tuk-tuks. Tuk-tuk. What Asian city, Southeast Asian city, is known for its floating markets and tuk-tuks? Floating markets, that sounds pretty cool. I would love to go to this place. You hear very interesting things about it. It's been talked about in multiple movies, quite a few. There's definitely a perception of it. Mm, but yeah. Number 11. Which U.S. national park is home to the iconic El Capitan and Half Dome? Half Dome sounds like a bowl. Uh, well, no, that doesn't even make sense. A half dome? Amphitheater, maybe? I don't know, sounds cool. Which U.S. national park is home to the iconic El Capitan and Half Dome? All right, number 12. The ancient city of Petra is located in which modern-day country? The ancient city of Petra is located in which modern-day country? Now, I'm wondering if this is where the word petroleum came from. Petra, obviously, it's not petro, but I wonder if that's where if this was where they first discovered petroleum. And then that's how it got its name. Maybe, maybe not. Ooh, something to look up for potentially a future episode. How did petroleum get its name? All right, number 13. Which European city is home to Gaudi's Sagrada Familia? What the S? All right, which European city is home to Gaudi's Sagrada Familia? Sounds cool. All right, 14. Which Asian country is famous for Mount Fuji and cherry blossoms? All right, never been here, but I've heard that the cherry blossoms are just absolutely wrong way, Professor Blam. Absolutely magnificent. The beautiful cherry blossoms, well worth it from what I've heard. Absolutely would love to visit it sometime. I would love to travel there. Unreal. Unreal. All right, that is the end of round two. And here come your answers. Oh yeah, sound effects are good. We're good. Number 8, what is the capital of New Zealand? Wellington. Beef Wellington. Duke Wellington. That's me playing the trumpet. Duke Wellington played a trumpet, I think. I don't know. Anyway, the capital of New Zealand is Wellington. Number 9, which famous river runs through Paris? That would be the Seine or Seine. Not sure how to pronounce it. If you're Parisian, sorry. It is spelled Seine. The Seine, the Seine, the Seine. Either way, that's the answer. And it's famous. I've never heard of it, but it's famous. All right, number 10. What Southeast Asian city is known for its floating markets and tuk-tuks? If you've seen the movie The Hangover, they definitely talk about it. This city is Bangkok. All right. Bangkok is known for its floating markets. Sounds cool. If nothing else, it would be great to go to the to Bangkok just to see a floating market. I don't know, sounds pretty sweet. Number 11, which U.S. national park is home to the iconic El Capitan and Half Dome? I don't know what the Half Dome is. I don't know what the El Capitan is. I think it's a mountain, um, a peak. Who knows? Maybe it's a geyser. It's probably a geyser. Anyway, the national park home to the iconic El Capitan and Half Dome is Yosemite National Park. Number 12. The ancient city of Petra is located in which modern-day country? Well, allegedly, petroleum came from Petra, which is in the modern-day country of Jordan. Commonly mistaken for Michael Jordan, this is Petra, Jordan. Well, I guess if it's modern day city, then it's probably not Petra, Jordan anymore. Maybe, I don't even know if Petra still exists since it's talking about an ancient city. Who knows what it became? Who knows? All right, number 13. Which European city is home to Gaudi's Sagrada Familia? Pronunciation on point. That would be Barcelona. Barcelona. Barcelona? Barcelona. Yeah. Barcelona is home to Gaudi's Sagrada Familia. Hmm. Number 14. Last question in round two. Which Asian country is famous for Mount Fuji and cherry blossoms? Japan. Beautiful country, never been there, would love to go. Cherry blossoms, fabulous. Mount Fuji looks amazing. One of the top countries on my list. All right, that brings us to the end of round two with questions and answers. Here comes a second 7-second pause for the answers to pop up on your screen. All right, that was 7, 10, 15, I don't know, somewhere around there. So now moving on to round three. Hope you're having a good time, fam. Hope it's trivia-rific. Hope it's blam-tastic. Blam, blam, blam. All right, round three. Round three. Number 15. In what country would you find the historic ruins of Machu Picchu? Pretty sure the Emperor's New Groove was based in this country. I think. I think. Maybe. I'm not real sure. But anyway, where's Machu Picchu? Number 16. Which city is home to the Christ the Redeemer statue? It's a huge statue in this country, in this city, that is just like Yeshua with his arms spread wide, or the perceived visual of Yeshua with his arms spread wide above this city. It's very cool. It's a really cool statue, really cool location. Beautiful from, let's say, a drone, from a bird's eye view from something above, or, you know, not from below. But anyway, yeah, what city is home to Christ the Redeemer statue? Number 17. What is the busiest airport in the world by passenger traffic? Basically, which airport has the most passengers daily? Interesting indeed. I mean, I know this one's busy, but it's definitely not the one that I expected. But this airport is super fat. So it doesn't necessarily surprise me completely, but it's not the first one that I would have expected. 18. What desert is the largest hot desert in the world? Which desert is the largest hot desert in the world? I'll do an 18B as well. Which desert is the largest cold desert in the world? Also the largest desert in the world. The largest hot desert is number 18A. The largest cold desert in the world is 18B. And the answer to 18B is also the largest desert in the world. Big fun fact. So we got a two-parter for 18. Dope. Number 19. Holy biscuits, which Scandinavian country is made up of over 240,000 islands? That's crazy. Those islands must be teeny tiny. Cool though, very cool, very interesting. And you don't really think of Scandinavia as being like islands. You think of more tropical, like Hawaii, or, well, really just Hawaii that I can think of. I don't know. But I don't necessarily, I mean, maybe you think of different places. I mostly think of tropical when I think of islands, but Scandinavia, country made up of over 240,000 islands. Very, very fresh, very cool. Number 20. Which city hosts the annual Oktoberfest celebration? Get out your lederhosen and go have some fun at Oktoberfest. Responsibly, of course. Legally and responsibly. Of course, respectfully. Of course. Then number 21, been here, super cool from the base. What is the tallest building in the world and where is it located? Very cool building. They have fountains at the base. It's super dope. Super dope building. All right, highly recommend going. It's really cool. All right, let's get on to the answers to round three. Obviously, you could pause this at any time to take more time to answer the questions, given the fact that it's a video and not a live performance. So, you know, do with this what you will. Answers to round three. Question 15. In what country would you find the historic ruins of Machu Picchu? Well, I believe this is where the Emperor's New Groove took place. Had a sip of my coffee. Let's French. That's what's on the mug if you can't see it. Anyway, in what country would you find the historic ruins of Machu Picchu? That would be Peru. Peru, Peru, Peru. Number 16. Which city is home to the Christ the Redeemer statue? Super dope. Once again, it's in Brazil, and the city is Rio de Janeiro. So the River of Janeiro. I don't know what Janeiro means. Generic, maybe? Janeiro, beauty. I don't speak Portuguese. Yeah, fun fact, if you didn't know, Brazil speaks Portuguese. Yeah, the language made up in Portugal. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah. All right, number 17. Shocking indeed. What's the busiest airport in the world by passenger traffic? Which airport has the most flyers daily? Basically, is what's asking. That would actually be the Atlanta airport, the Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. I would not have guessed this. All right, I mean, it's a huge airport. I know there's a ton of traffic, but I would have guessed it probably would have been a New York one, LAX, somewhere over in international. I don't know, but yeah, ATL. Oh, yeah, I forgot it's backwards. ATL, busiest airport in the world. Number 18, we got a two-parter. Which desert is the largest hot desert in the world? The answer to this is the Sahara Desert, which I'm sure many people think is the biggest desert in the world, but in fact, they would be incorrect. Which brings us to question 18, part deuce. What is the largest cold desert in the world? That would be Antarctica. Antarctica, which is also the largest desert in the world. Many people don't think of cold being a desert. However, in fact, it is. It is. You learned something here today. I'm sure maybe you did know it, maybe you didn't, but if you didn't, you're welcome. If you did know it, then, kudos to you. Rip up another point. Obviously, round three is going to be out of 8 points. So today's entire 21 is going to be out of 22 points. Dope. All right, now, this one's super dope. 19. Which Scandinavian country is made up of over 240,000 islands? Impressive indeed. But this is actually, never would have guessed this. This is Sweden. Sweden is made up of over 240,000 islands. What the heck? That's freaking wild. Oh, islands. Maybe we'll do an episode on islands. Actually, we're definitely going to do an episode on islands now. That's super cool. All right, number 20. Which city hosts the annual Oktoberfest celebration? Um, I will take the country. You can give yourself a point if you had the right country. But definitely give yourself a point if you have the right city. Munich, Germany. Oktoberfest is in Germany, and it's more specifically in Munich. Dope. 21. What is the tallest building in the world, and where is it located? I guess recalculating. This is a two answer question. So I guess we're going to be out of 23 today, not 21. We're going to be out of 23. So but anyway, the tallest building in the world is the Burj Khalifa, and it is located in Dubai. You could have either said Dubai, give yourself 1 point, Burj Khalifa 1 point, and if you said Burj Khalifa in Dubai, 2 points. So that's round three. I'm gonna pause here for like 7 seconds so you can see the answers to round three if you're watching on the tube. If you're watching via only your ears on podcast form, then just bear with me. All right. That's all of our answers. Round one, two, and three. Pull up your score out of 23. Make sure to comment it below how you did. If you're enjoying this, fabulous. Click the like, subscribe so you can know when the next trivia episode comes out. If you've noticed, I also drop math and other educational videos in my shorts, not the shorts I'm wearing, in my video shorts. Funny names indeed. Um, but yeah, we're just trying to have some fun here, trying to educate, you know, educate and have a good time. So I'm Professor Blam. We hope to see you next time. Who knows what the next episode will be about, but I know it will be on Thursday. So, thanks for playing. Stay tuned. Blam.